Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our virtual subject evening. This evening, we're going to take you through our courses in history, politics, geography, geology, and environmental science. So we've got quite a lot to get through. My name's Amy Smith, and I'm the marketing manager for Lowestoft Sixth Form College. So over the course of this evening, you're going to be hearing from two of our tutors that teach all of these subjects, and they'll be giving you an overview of each, and then we will have some time at the end for questions as well. So there's a little Q&A box that you should see at the bottom of your screen. Any questions you've got, anything that springs to mind as we go through the presentation, please feel free to pop it in that box. And then when we get to the end, we will ask all of those questions live for you so we can cover everything off. So let's get started straight away. First of all, I'm going to hand you over to Chris, who's going to take you through his courses. Over to you, Chris.
Thanks, Amy. Hi, everyone. So what we're looking at is I teach history and politics at the sixth form. Just going to give you a quick overview of the history course and then lead on to the politics course. So A-level history, it's a really quite a decent course where you're going to be developing skills with interpreting views, historical sources, and you'll be using these at quite a good level to prepare you for obviously higher education, moving on to doing a degree. The course is broken down into 4 separate courses. So in the first year, you'll be studying Anglo-Saxon England and the Norman Conquest. That will make up 25% of the grade. In the second part of the first year, you'll be looking at the Cold War in Europe, which is 15% of the grade. As you move into the second year, we'll be looking at the challenge of German nationalism, which is 40% of the grade, and then coursework, which makes up 20% of the grade. Still deciding what to do the coursework on it, but it will probably be something to do with Nazi Germany. Within the actual history, it's really useful going forwards because it's a classic area of study which is highly sought after and respected by universities. It complements both curiosity and helps to explain why events happen and happened. Another really useful thing is if you're thinking about, where might history fit into my plan or where might history fit into my other courses, it really complements politics, law, English, geography, and sociology. All those sort of skill sets will meld together and it'll be of great use to you. Moving on to the politics course. So government and politics, again, this is really cool course, which is lots of discussion based things. I mean, obviously everything going on at the moment, there's a lot to talk about, both in England and across the pond in America. But the course will really look at a breakdown of UK politics, which is 33%, sorry, of the exam. That's what we study in the first year. We'll be looking at the UK constitution, political parties, as well as forms of governance and the British system as a whole. In the second year, we look at the UK government broken down. So it's a study of different political thoughts. So that will be liberalism, nationalism, socialism. So you've got all sorts of stuff in there, quite a bit on, obviously, like I say, socialism, which will be really quite useful if you're into your sort of your Marxism and stuff like that. Also be looking at comparative politics. So from comparative politics, we'll be looking at the EU, which will be a study of global governance, human rights, regionalisation, and some globalism as well thrown in there. Again, the course is really, really useful for you going forwards. The actual skill set will help you really understand the world we live in, and you'll be able to dismantle and look at political ideas and reasons why politicians and political parties do certain things. It will give you really primarily a far greater understanding of the voice that you've got and how to use it within obviously the running of the country going forwards. Again, this complements other courses such as history, law, criminology, psychology, and sociology. It's a great pathway, as you can see on the screen, into civil service, broadcasting, journalism, the legal profession, the police force, and maybe even politics if that's the way you want to go. So with my 2 courses, obviously history and government and politics complete, I'll hand you over to Sian, who'll tell you all about her courses. Thanks very much.
Thank you. There we go. Okay, hi everybody, my name's Sian. I am going to talk to you today about 3 of the A-level courses that I would be delivering next year. The first one is the Geography A Level. So I've taken quite a long time to develop this course and I'm really, really proud of it. It's got some fantastic elements to it, really up to date, on the pulse, kind of subjects that you'll be covering, linked to what's going on in the world at the moment, helping us understand and pick apart things like climate change, natural hazards, a lot of politics or sociology in there as well. You can see on the list in front of you, you've got the different topics that you'd be studying, and some of them might be familiar. So it's a really nice course to build upon from GCSE. We start with things like coastal landscapes in year 1. Again, most of you, if you've done GCSE geography, you would have covered coastal landscapes. And I picked it because we are on the coast and it's a perfect opportunity to go outside and do some field work, which I'm really passionate about. So I get out as much as I can within the course capabilities and explore our local landscape to understand the coastal system as a whole. The next one is a Earth Life Support System. It's a physical unit in geography, and ultimately it's a unit based upon the carbon and the water cycle. So we understand how all of the Earth Life Support Systems work together, but also importantly, how humans are interacting with those to create problems for them and how they unbalance them and unbalance the system. So at the moment, this is the one I'm delivering right now with my A2 students, and we're looking at the tropical rainforest in the Amazon. We'd also look at the Arctic tundra as well, and also a part of that, understand how humans are influencing those particular areas, which is quite good. Changing Spaces, Making Places is a human unit, which we would do in year 1. And it's a perfect one, again, for getting out and about. We've done a couple of trips down Lowestoft High Street, even though, you know, lockdown's on, we can socially distance, and we haven't let us stop. We've been going out and exploring what makes a place a place. How do people feel about the place that they live in? What are the things that determine the identity of a location? And it's very much an urban unit around planning and architecture and space planning. So it builds upon GCSE knowledge from urban units that you may have done, but expands those a little bit more into sort of what they'll be, you know, looking for from higher education. One that I do particularly enjoy, or the next 2 I enjoy delivering in the A2 unit, is the Global Migration and Human Rights. These are slightly shorter units, but again, anything in the news at the moment, there's always stuff about global migration going on, and human rights are constantly being challenged around the world. And what we want to do in this unit, or these 2 units together, is looking at how global governance particularly influences why some people have more human rights essentially than others around the world, why some people are able to migrate more easily around the world than others, and what are the challenges facing people in different places. And then the next one on the list is disease dilemmas, hugely appropriate. Last year, I was just before we went into lockdown, I was studying this with my students, and we were doing some research about the current diseases that are coming up, and we came across this disease called COVID-19, which we didn't really know a huge amount about. That was coming out of reports from China, and as it unfolded around the world, we were watching it happening in front of us and learning about it on the go. And so geography, believe it or not, has a lot of diversity in it beyond just learning about places and capital cities. You're learning about global diseases in this unit and how they impact around the world. And I think it's a particularly obviously pertinent one at the moment. And my personal favourite, hazardous earth. I don't think it'd be geography without any volcanoes and earthquakes. So that one is something we do in the first year, and we look at the different hazards that exist around the world, where they are and why they are there. So that's hopefully a quick overview. Wasn't that quick, sorry. To progress onwards now, I think they still use the term facilitating subject. Like history, geography is a facilitating subject, so the universities really like having that, seeing it on your UCAS application form. It can be purely for geography, but it can very much support you look at going forward into things like geology, environmental science, engineering, climatology. So there's lots and lots of progression routes in there. If you're interested in sciences, the core sciences like physics, biology and maths, it goes very much with that, but it also supports the social sciences too, things like sociology and psychology. Very much a one that integrates with many other subjects. You learn a wide range of skills, both practical and academic skills, that will really give you a great grounding for university going forward, and also apprenticeships as well. Geographers tend to be really good people, if that's even a thing. And so therefore you learn a lot of skills that are applicable in the real world, as they say. So hopefully it'll give you a good base for that. Thank you. Right, this would be the Geology A Level. This would be a fantastic new course that the college are going to be offering, and it's something I feel really passionate about. Again, it was part of my degree. I did a geography and geology degree, so I can't wait to get started on this one. It's a really fascinating topic. So it goes really well with geography and environmental science. They're a perfect trio there, I would say. And what we aim to do is to give you the basics to be able to go on to the undergraduate level and take these studies further, because usually people who are interested in geology have a passion outside of the subject. They're people who go to the beach and look for fossils, maybe go to the museums and have a look at the rock samples and things like that. So this course, as you can see from the bullet points on the left hand side, is broken down into essentially the foundation to geology. So you'd be looking at, for example, what are the different rock types? How do I identify the different rocks and minerals in front of me? We will look at global tectonics, so how the Earth's surface is moving and how that works beneath the Earth's surface as well, so linked to volcanoes and earthquakes. What we can do to interpret the past, so mainly this would be around things like fossils. So we'd get fossil samples, we'd understand first of all what they are and how we can use them to date and identify areas in the past. Petrology and economic geography. This is one, particularly for where we are based in Lowestoft, it's a fantastic opportunity to get a foothold in what is going to be essentially a big job opportunity in the future as well. So petrology and economic geography look at how we can look at oil, sediments beneath the sea, gas, for example. Geohazards very much linked to global volcanoes and earthquakes, but also things like mass movement and landslides and sinkholes. So the questions such as, you know, why do sinkholes happen and where do they happen? Geologists can answer those questions. And the last one, basin analysis. We look at the different rocks that make up the ground under their feet, and we interpret cross sections of different rocks going through the earth. So very briefly, that's a nice one there. So there are so many progression routes going forward. So you could do things like archaeology, paleontology, very much with climatology, but obviously if you're interested in the oil and gas fields, geology is perfect progression route there. Most geologists from A Level go on to study at university as well. So if you are thinking about something like that, it's the perfect A Level to help you there. And finally, environmental science. So this is a course that we've started this year. It's going fantastically well so far. I absolutely love teaching it because it's the perfect medium between geography and climate science and understanding the world that we live in. The course is broken down, as you can see, into lots of different units. The physical environment, where you'd study things like the atmosphere, the hydrosphere, you'd learn about soils, you'd learn about the rocks beneath your feet. Then there's the things such as conservation, biodiversity, things like pollution, fisheries, agriculture. So there's a huge mishmash of everything where humans interact with the environment. We basically learn about it in environmental science. And going forwards, again, I think if you're interested in environmental science, it's usually something that people go on to do at higher level, whether it's geography or environmental science. But anybody interested in the climate and the climate change around us, conservation, environmental impact assessments, toxicology, ecotoxicology, particularly marine biology. It does go really, really well with chemistry and biology as well. There's a very big crossover between geography, biology, chemistry, environmental science again. So if you're considering any of those subjects, it would be very supportive of any of those as well.
Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you, Sean. Yes, so now we have had an overview of each of our courses. Now's the time that you get to ask your questions. So as I said, Q&A box should be along the bottom of your screen. Type in anything there that you'd like answered, and we will get our tutors to answer it for you this evening. So while we're waiting for the first ones to come in, we did have a couple that were sent prior to this evening, so we can kickstart with those. So the first one, probably one for you, Sean. Somebody asked, does it make sense to study geography, geology and environmental science, or are these two similar to do them all?
I would say it very much depends on your progression, where you want to go on to. I think they complement each other perfectly. There is a lot of overlap, but actually what you'll find when you're doing A-levels is overlap is a useful thing to do. So if you were interested in going on to higher education to study any one of those three things, or maybe an apprenticeship route or you know, working, I would say that's a perfect combination.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. We've got a bit of a general question, but it probably applies to each of your areas. Are there particular grades I need to achieve to get on each of these courses? So I don't know if you could both give an overview for your particular areas.
Do you want to go first, Chris?
I was going to think what you were going to say, actually.
Okay,
No.
it's not a problem. I can say for geography, all three of mine, that it's the course, the college requirements as usual. So it'd be a 5.2 average. However, I would definitely stress that within environmental science and geology, there is a heavy emphasis on maths. So I would certainly be needing you to have at least a level 5 in mathematics to be able to get onto the course. But 5.2 average would be good.
Yes, the same goes. It's the standard entry. Obviously, GCSE history for history would be highly desirable. I have got one student this year that hasn't got a GCSE in history. So, you know, we can talk about it if you sort of think, you know, this is my calling, this is what I want to do. Politics, again, there's no set thing for politics outside of the standard college expectations. It's if you're interested in politics and you want to really discuss the subject and really get involved in it, you're more than welcome, just so long as you've got an opinion and you want to share it. So that's the main thing, really.
Brilliant, thank you. Sian, a question for you that we've just had come in. I'm struggling to decide between geography and environmental science. Please could you outline the main differences between them and what kind of people will enjoy one over the other?
That's a hard question. Right, so the key differences. Well, I would certainly say that environmental science as a course is very much focused on the scientific element of it. So there's a lot of emphasis on understanding the scientific methodology and procedure behind a lot of the issues that we look at. And so, for example, research methods, you have to do 12 practicals over the 2 years. Some of them in laboratory, some of them out in the field. And what you do have to do is be able to kind of apply that scientific methodology, and that's what you'll be assessed on. Whereas geography, it is a science, however, there is less of an emphasis on that, and there's more of an emphasis on understanding the people and the environment. So it's an application of the world around you, rather than understanding the process by which you get to a particular answer. So I'd say very much science, environmental science is more of a sort of what you'd maybe find in like a chemistry or biology kind of organization, and geography is very much more lapped over with things like sociology and psychology, and it's more of a literature based study. So it depends on what you're interested in, whether you've got an interest in more about discussion and understanding and discursive type stuff, or you prefer more of a hard science approach. So I would say that's the key difference for me between the two.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And I think one thing probably just to flag up as well is that if you are still struggling to decide between them and you're not ready to make a decision yet, that you've still got time. So you can still get your application in, you can still put them down as your choices, and you can have a couple of other choices as well. You don't need to at this time be dead set exactly on what you want to do. If you are, that's fantastic, but if you're still deciding, that's fine. And when it gets to the interview stage, then there can be more conversations around that, and we can offer more kind of guidance about the kind of courses you're looking at and what works well together. So if you are still struggling to decide, it really doesn't matter. Pop them both down, pop down whatever else you're interested in, and then at a later date we can help you make those decisions. So what have we got here? How important is it to have studied a subject at GCSE that you want to take at A level? I suppose for some courses they don't offer a GCSE, but I guess some of them will. Who's able to help with that one?
Yes, I'm more than happy. I think from my perspective with history, definitely you'll be taught skills like source work, analysis, evaluation. There's some of the skills actually do come with English. So if you get an English GCSE, there's a really nice symbiosis between the two skill sets. However, you kind of need to be able to run through, you know, my expectation will be that you can run through a source without my guiding you as a first year. You know, there's way around it. Politics, obviously not a politics GCSE, so no, you know, straight in, all good. Just have an opinion, I think.
Yeah, and yeah, what about your courses, Sean? Obviously some of those won't be in GCSE either, will they?
No. So that's one of the nice things about geology and environmental science, is that they are completely new, I suppose. You wouldn't have studied them necessarily at GCSE. However, my suggestion would be that you don't need to study any of those at GCSE to be able to do them at A level. We're really proficient and we're really good at supporting and helping you get to where you need to be. They're 2-year courses, so you've got a lot of time. If you're willing to put the time and the effort in, we will give you the support that you need to get to be able to succeed at the end. But my main emphasis when I tell my geographers and my environmental scientists and hopefully my geologists in the future is make sure you get your English and your maths. Those two things, those skills you learn in those two subjects are so important. And obviously for science, you need a double science for environmental science and possibly for geology as well. But English, maths and science are the key ones. You don't have to have had the other content stuff to be able to do them at A level.
Great, thank you. Okay, I think that's brought us to the end of our questions. So thank you everyone for joining us. As you'll see on the screen now, we've got our website. You can apply now to join us for a start in September 2021. So if you visit our website, all of the courses that we discussed this evening and everything else that we offer at the college is available on there. So you can take a look to find out some more information and get your application submitted as well. There's an email address on screen, hereToHelp@eastcoast.ac.uk. Any questions you've got, anything that you think of after this that you'd like to know or you wish you'd have asked, send it through to there, and then those will get filtered out to Sean and Chris to answer and get back to you with your queries. You'll also see our social media icons. We are on social media, so if you want to get a bit of a feel for college life, see the types of things our students are up to now, then that's a really great head start for doing that. And the final thing just to mention is that as well on our website, you'll also be able to find our virtual tour. So this is really great at the moment when unfortunately we're not able to welcome you in at the moment, but you can still have a little look around our building. So you can start right from the front door, walk throughout the college, go up each of the floors, look in some of our classrooms, look at the kind of study spaces, the places where you'll relax and with friends and that kind of thing. So you can get a good feel for the college through that as well until the time when we are able to invite you back in. So I hope that's helpful. I hope you've enjoyed this evening. And if there is anything else, don't hesitate to get in touch with us. And we hope to meet you all in the very near future. So thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.